am Jimmie Johnson, and today I will be answering your most burning questions that you have searched the Googles for in regards to me. Let's get things straight right off the bat. Jimmie Johnson, the former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, is not my grandfather. What is Jimmie Johnson doing right now? To put this as simply and bluntly as humanly possible, I am talking to a camera in a room completely alone. This was an idea that I had when I woke up this morning after not sleeping for half the night. So maybe that had some part to do in it. Honestly, what sort of fucking question is that to even ask the internet? What is Jimmie Johnson doing right now? Does anybody know but him? What is Jimmie Johnson net worth? Well, let me tell you something. It's not nearly as high as you'd think it would be. I was doing pretty well and was quite well off before I decided that it was a good idea to invest in a team called Petty GMS. We then decided to hire Noah Gregson, who cost me an arm and a leg in wrecked race cars and legal fees. I do not do any sort of yard work, nor do I do my own cooking or cleaning. Landscaping, maids, personal chefs, all of that costs a boatload. What I'm getting at is, I didn't plan on running as many races in 2024 as I am going to be running. What is Jimmie Johnson doing today? Again, this goes back to what am I doing now? It hasn't changed any. I'm still right here, right now, talking to this camera, and I'm gonna assume that this footage is going to be edited by a very handsome individual after I'm done with this thing. What is Jimmie Johnson's new car number? Well, since Alex Bowman had to be a little bitch about it, couldn't give me the car number that I made a ton of money in, won a ton of races in, won a ton of championships in. He's done next to dick with that car number, yet he feels some entitlement over it. So I had to swap from the 48 to the 84, which honestly, it's not the end of the world because I'm gonna be driving a Toyota in 2024. And I'm sure if my fans saw me driving a 48, a Toyota 48, I would have a whole lot of hospital and therapy bills to be paying for. Because for some reason, they would blame me for causing them emotional harm and distress. I think it's actually for the better that I'm driving this 84 and we're making this swap over to Toyota with it, because that 48 legacy will always live on in everyone's minds, and that's what got me into the Hall of Fame. If I were to slap a Toyota on the number 48, even I might have some sort of heart episode. My doctor told me last month that my cravings for butter will eventually have some negative impacts, so I can't take any sudden jolts to the system, if you know what I'm saying. What is Jimmie Johnson's number? Do you mean car number or phone number? What is Jimmie Johnson Caddy doing now? I played golf once last year. They gave me a rent-a-caddy, someone that worked at the golf course. Plus, you spelled my name wrong. Are you talking about my not grandfather? Or are you talking about me? I'm starting to think that the rest of these questions are in regards to the guy that last made the Cowboys relevant, not having anything to do with me or my life. Who is Jimmie Johnson married to? Well, this is a very interesting question. Do you mean personally or in my career? Because I'd like to talk more about my career today. It is the only thing I truly care about. Racing as many different vehicles and performing in none of them at all is what I am married to. Driving cars around in circles, sometimes with some right turns involved, not contending for wins ever. That fills my heart like nothing else. Did you know that I forced Chip Ganassi to sell his third home to pay for all of the wrecked race car bills that I incurred upon him? Who is Jimmie Johnson driving for? Well, I explained that in the beginning. Myself. And it's costing me a fortune. Who is Jimmie Johnson in football? I have never played a fucking down of football in my life. I am so goddamn sick of being compared to him, of asking if we're related, of being blamed for the Dallas Cowboys' downfalls. I have absolutely nothing to do with any of it. Who is Jimmie Johnson's wife? I'm sorry, I do not answer questions that do not proper grammar. Who is Jimmie Johnson? Are you doing some sort of book report? Who am I? That's a question I ask myself every time I lay my head down on my pillow at night. I'm just a kid from Southern California, baby, riding skateboards in the surf, that dreamed of one day becoming an IndyCar driver. Things went off the rails at some point, and I wound up with those hillbillies in NASCAR. Thankfully, I did, because IndyCar ain't paying shit anymore, and I got a lot of bills. Who is Jimmie Johnson's crew chief? Well, this is at least an interesting question. Jason Burdett of Justin Allgaier not performing fame is going to be leading my crew in the 2024 season. Hardly anything over there with Allgaier in the Xfinity Series for Junior Motorsports. And for some reason, I think he's going to get me back at Victory Circle in the year 2024. Allgaier replaced him because he was tired of not performing well enough. I have fallen so down for the shit shoot that all I can get is the leftovers that people don't want anymore. How old is Jimmie Johnson? Well, let me count the rings. I was born in the 70s sometime. I can't remember which year. That wreck at Pocono in 2017 really fried my brain. How tall is Jimmie Johnson? Let me count the rings. How old is Jimmie Johnson, football coach? That old bastard has been stealing my publicity since I was born. And even when he started that up, he was old. So I'm gonna say he's at least reached the triple digits. When is Jimmie Johnson racing in 2023? You guys need more up-to-date searches. When did Jimmie Johnson retire? The same year the world decided to say fuck me when it came to my retirement tour. Oh, Jimmie, you can no longer kiss that baby's forehead. Oh, Jimmie, you can no longer sign that pair of breasts. It was the worst, most miserable year of my life when I was supposed to be celebrated by everybody. When was Jimmie Johnson's last win? A long time ago. This has been Jimmie Johnson Answers the Internet's Questions. I'm not sure if this video was any good or not, but that's pretty much my racing career nowadays. Thank you for watching.